Waking up, I feel so damn good. I got a boner. On the Go Show released a new episode today. Gonna listen to it with my boner. My boner.
Kind of wanted to talk about CinemaCon, the rest of CinemaCon that we didn't quite cover last week, which really isn't a whole lot, but we had some reveals. I don't know if you noticed, but Predator's getting a couple movies and like a TV series on Hulu.
Yep, I saw it.
They both seem very interesting. The animated one looks really cool. I think it's like Killer of Killers.
Yeah, it's pretty much him traveling through time.
I like that. I like that concept a lot. I think that's something they had kind of discussed when Prey came out, because the reception of Prey was pretty good. So I think that was maybe set in motion from that.
Yeah, which I think is better to do animated anyway than do a live action version of that.
Right. Well, also, you spend less time filming a movie for each era, right? You can do like a 30-minute, 45-minute episode animated versus, 2 or 3 movies over, 6 years or whatever?
Yeah, well, 6 years. I wish it was in theaters.
Oh, the animation?
Yeah, I wish it was in theaters. That would have been cool.
That would have been cool. That would have been really nice. And it's the same kind of animation that Spider-Verse kind of did. I mean, everyone's going to that, right? Because they set a precedence now. So it's that similar animation. So yeah, I think it would work. But the movie sounds really cool to me, where it's the Predator. He's on a planet. He's being hunted by something bigger than him. I like that idea. I don't really care for the human factor in there. I kind of wish it was just like the Predator on his own.
Yeah, you gotta have a human factor.
Monster movies, they always have to have a human to kind of like explain the emotions of the monster. Like you see it in Godzilla all the time, where the humans are like, oh, Godzilla is destroying the city because he's mad about whatever, and he's fighting this monster because this monster wants to kill us, or sometimes they just question their own existence. Like, are we the reason Godzilla's evil?
Yeah, because they're the ones that help the story go. And
right.
Of course, Predator can't talk, so it's just like you kind of have to have some type of human effect in there. So I understand. And
I mean, I wouldn't mind like just a standalone Predator movie, but that's just me. So I get where the studio's coming from on that one. So we also got some. Apparently, there was like footage of the Running Man remake, and some trailers dropped, like Megan 2.0. That trailer dropped. Interesting directions they're taking that movie. I don't know if you care for Megan at all. I don't think you did. I don't think you liked Megan.
I liked it. It was fine. It was fine. It was funny. Yeah, it was fine.
Okay. So how do you feel about them leaning into the ridiculousness of the concept?
Yeah, it makes sense. You might as well. I mean, if you're going this far, you gotta lean into it all the way. So I don't have no problem with the trailer. Looks kind of funny.
A lot of people compared it to like Terminator 2.
Yeah,
Terminator 2.
That's pretty much what it is. Yeah, it's Terminator 2.
I think Nobody 2 also got footage, the Bob Odenkirk movie, Nobody. And then we got a trailer for Tron Ares. They showed some Avatar Fire and Ash stuff, so that's neat. And the boldest thing I saw them do was announce a sequel to the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of figured they would give it a sequel. I mean, it's How to Train Your Dragon, so I'm not really surprised. It's
right.
Is it really a trilogy anyway, or is it like just a two-piece sequel? I don't think it's a trilogy.
No, it's a trilogy. It's a trilogy, and then they have like a couple TV show spinoffs. Like it's a popular series, so it does make sense that it would get a sequel. But I was just like, wow, that's really bold to just like, the movie's not even out yet. It comes out in the summertime, so it's really bold to just go, hey, we're definitely doing a sequel. And it irked me a little bit just because, you have films that come out and they struggle like opening weekend, and already the studio's trying to rip it down and throw it on the streaming.
And that's true.
Whereas you have this live action remake, just like, yep, we're doing a sequel. It's like, oh, well, I guess look at you.
Apparently they got like a full. They was able to watch the full movie, and yeah, they said it was pretty good.
I heard about that.
Yeah, it tested pretty good. So, which I'm not really shocked. It looks like it's probably one of the better live action movies.
Visually, it looks great.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of one of the better ones. So I'm not really surprised. I'm not anxious to see it, but I really don't care for How to Train a Dragon like that. But I will watch it though, just to see how it matches up with the animated one. Yeah,
well, the original director, and I think some of the original people from the animated movie came back to do this one because they were like, if you're going to bring it into live action, let us bring it into live action because we did it so well the first time. Let us come back, do it the right way. You know, we're not trying to create a soulless remake like Disney's been doing, quote unquote.
Yeah, which makes sense. So I mean, if you know, if it tests good at CinemaCon, hopefully it tests good with audiences. Yeah, with audiences.
I tell everybody, you American friends now. You laugh so much.
Well, I'll give it to you. What do you want to talk about first? What do you want to do? Superman, Minecraft? What's on your mind today?
I mean, we can just go and talk about the Minecraft because it's kind of a shock to everybody how much money it made over the weekend.
Yeah, I think like 300 million or something.
Yeah, I saw it. It's not a very good film. I'm just keeping it real. It's really not. I did not enjoy this film at all. I didn't get one laugh out of it except at the end with Jack Black's character Steve and the villain. And it was like one little part in the film that I really, really enjoyed. That part was done. That was it. The rest of the film, I really did not enjoy.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that might be a generational thing? Because Minecraft has been popular for a little while, but I think we were pretty much adults by the time Minecraft kind of came out.
No, because I have a sense of humor for a lot of stuff. I mean, I enjoy Mario Brothers, and and Mario Brothers really didn't have too much of a script to it either. They just go according to the video game.
Yeah.
There's been movies there have been movie adaptations and TV adaptations of video games where you can put together a good story. This was just complete cash grab. It was trash. It was really trash. But for the niche audience that loved it, hey, congratulations to them. Got a good movie out of it. I thought the acting was terrible. I thought Danielle Brooks, and I'm very surprised. You never think that Danielle Brooks would have. They gave her probably the most basic stuff out of anybody.
Yeah, she was kind of a surprise to see. Doesn't she play?
She was in Purple. Yeah, she was in Color Purple. She's in Suicide Squad as Amanda Waller's daughter.
Yeah, Orange is the New Black is where she really got picked up from.
Yeah, she's a very good actress. Got nominated for an Oscar, and they just gave her some of the most basic lines, and it was just her delivery was terrible. It was just terrible. The little boy that they put in the film, him and his sister are moving to a new town because their mother passed away. So you thinking like, oh, okay, cool, you get some type of emotional story out of this art block, and you didn't. It was just no story developing at all with those two characters. Jason Momoa basically was a man-child.
He was a video game champion from the 80s.
Yeah, video game champion from the 80s, and they about to get rid of the store. They're trying to pull the tug strings of this guy that's struggling now. Now he's gotten older. He's got a video game store that's about to go under. So he's trying to find money for that.
I'm a little surprised they did so much backstory on these characters to begin with.
I mean, they didn't do too much backstory at all, honestly. They gave you just enough to know who the characters are, but that's about it. After that, we just get immediately started into the virtual world of it all, and then that's when everything kind of goes right then and there. There's no excuse for not having a lack of story, and it's a cop out just to sit there and say, well, it's a kids movie, so you got to enjoy it for what it is, not for us. That's bullshit because we've had plenty of video game TV adaptations with Last of Us, Twisted Metal. We've got video game adaptations that didn't have a story, or the stories were lacking, and they do. Twisted Metal is one of them. Twisted Metal had no story. It was just a car and a bunch of cars and a bunch of fire.
Right.
And they were able to put a story behind it, and it was really, really good.
Very good.
So, and same thing for Last of Us. Getting season 2 coming up. To see this take such a step back is just I don't know. It's kind of lame. It's lame to see. Yeah, hopefully with the sequel that they do a little better with it. Hopefully. Put some character development in it. Put some time and care in it.
Well, I read a quote when they were talking about doing a sequel because obviously it made enough money to where they're gonna do a sequel.
Yeah, they're gonna do a sequel.
And the director had made the comment that like with Minecraft, there's so many different mods, there's so many different maps, there's so many different things in the game that like you could make movies off of. I'm with you. Like hopefully they kind of put together a real script for next time. This was just let's make a fun, dumb movie. Let's make the money, and then we'll do something else with the sequel if necessary.
Yeah, well, because I know Alex is supposed to be in the sequel because the end credit scene was Alex coming back. You know,
Yeah.
Alex being introduced.
It's kind of weird because I read that it's Kate McKinnon is the voice, but it's a different woman as the actress, which is a strange thing. It's like you couldn't just have her do the line, or Kate McKinnon wasn't available that day. It's like a strange choice.
Yeah, it happens sometime. I mean, I was thinking, it was some movie back in the day, which it was I think it was a comic book movie where they had a certain actor, and when the sequel rolled around, they totally changed the person who they wanted. So, you know, it happens. It happens every now and again. But yeah, it was a lackluster film for me. But hey, the people that loved it, good film.
How was your theater? Was everyone well behaved?
Yeah, for the most part, it was fine. You had a couple teenagers in there hooting and hollering at certain scenes, you know, in particular.
Would it be any different than a Marvel movie? You know,
on how the crowd was acting was like a Marvel movie. It's pretty much like Endgame. It was acting like Endgame.
Right.
So that's how the crowd was acting for the Minecraft movie. So it was pretty much equal. It was pretty much
I
equal.
see.
But it wasn't just, you know, throwing popcorn and drinks in the air like crazy like you've been seeing on social media.
Which I noticed it's always the same like 2 videos that get shared around. It reminds me of the Wicked debacle where they were saying a bunch of people were singing the songs in the theater, but you know the internet is kind of like a microscope of what's really going on. So it seemed like it was happening in every theater, but it's isolated incidents.
Yeah, it's isolated incidents, and it was bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, the theaters were dirty. You know, you had a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers and stuff like that acting a fool, but I don't think it was as bad as, you know, the internet would make you believe.
That tracks. Because when I first saw it, I was like, all right, this obviously isn't happening everywhere. Just a couple incidents. Someone's dad bought out the theater for their kids, and this is what happened.
Yeah. You know, it was a couple times where, you know, the police had to pause the movie and stuff like that, which is never good. Because, you know, you got little ones in there, and they get rattled by noise. They get easily rattled by people hollering, which was how it was in my theater. So whenever the teenagers were acting like jackwagons, then the kids would get rattled and they start yelling too.
I don't know. For adults, it would be really annoying to have to sit through that. And then also, people are still kind of on edge about movie theaters, you know, from the Dark Knight Rises shooting, you know? So that's still always in the back of people's minds, is anything could pop off at any moment. And then when you have a rowdy theater like that, it brings the anxiety up.
Yeah, so it is with me. I'm like it every now and again too.
Yeah. Pay attention. You got to be careful with your surroundings. And then like when everyone's loud and acting a fool, you know, you're like, all right, well, what's about to happen? Do you feel like this was a real decision by Jack Black, or was just like a paycheck movie for him, or like, because I don't think he ever played Minecraft until he started filming this movie. I read that he got real into it on set. Like he did like 100 hours or whatever while filming the movie. But I don't think he ever really played it beforehand.
I mean, well, Jack Black is going to be Jack Black. He's going to do it for the love of doing it. And he's been doing it. Like, I had no problem with Jack Black because Jack Black was Jack Black. He was Tenacious D. He was all the characters you've seen Jack Black play all rolled into one in this movie. So I really had no problem with him. It was a dumb story for his story, you know, for him himself, Steve, which is his character that he's playing. But I had no problem with him. He nailed his performance. He was all in. He was all in. Like at this point, you know, you get Jack Black for everything. Like if they just want to do a Kool-Aid Man, you can make him a Kool-Aid Man. He's done everything. Only movie that he's done that has not been a success, that was a complete flop, was Badlands, the Borderlands.
Borderlands, yeah.
And he played Claptrap. That's the only movie. That's the only video game or whatever IP that you could think of that he did that was not of great success. Everything else he's touched so far has been gold.
How'd you feel about Jason Momoa in this movie?
I mean, Jason Momoa too. I mean, Jason Momoa, he was all in. Like him and Steve, him and
Jack Black.
Jack Black. Of course, they're gonna have the most lines and most stuff to say. So you're gonna give them better scripts and better
more things to do.
Yeah, more things to do. The rest of the three had nothing to do. Like the sister and the brother was just there, and the little boy was there just for the POV perspective, the point of view perspective. And then Danielle Brooks' character, she was just there, as the woman that sold him the house, and she also had a second job, having a farm in her car, taking care of animals in her car and stuff like that. So she had nothing to do. Like the other three cast members had nothing to do. Honestly, I would have just done it without those three and just did it with Jack Black and Jason Momoa.
Right, because I mean, he's already a video game champion, so you could just, have him get sucked into the game or whatever, and then he saves Jack Black. It's like him and Jack Black on an adventure. Yeah.
Yeah, you could easily just done it with just those two and call it a day. You didn't really need the other three people because they added no value to the story at all. You're gonna forget who they are going forward. Right.
I mean, obviously if they do a sequel, they're not gonna bring him back. You might bring back Jason Momoa just because he's the name, and you're definitely gonna bring back Jack Black as Steve. But yeah, you're right. Those other three will probably just get written out or not discussed or whatever.
Yeah, I'm talking about the characters. I'm not talking about the actors. The actors are the actors. They did, I'm not talking about how they were trash, but I'm talking about how they relate to the story and just how the actors had no story at all. They just, they were just there, unfortunately, But hey, at least they got a paycheck out of it.
On the Go podcast with Jacob and James.
It would truly spice up your life.
Tell me your thoughts on the Superman sneak peek. I know you were super excited about it. It played before Minecraft, but they just dropped it for CinemaCon anyway, which we kind of suspected they would do.
It was just a little 2-minute clip. It was just Crypto, the extended clip of him falling from the sky, and Crypto just carrying him off in the Fortress of Solitude. And it was pretty much a clip. They honestly didn't have to play the trailer. They could have just cut that off and just said, "Hey, see Superman July 11th in theaters." And James Gunn in Twitter, he said he was doing another trailer for Superman, which I'm pretty sure is gonna be for Superman Day. It was fine. It was good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It'll give me no more hype than I already was. It's gonna be an awesome time to watch this movie. It looks like it's gonna be kind of fun for once.
I hope so. I watched it as well, and I thought the Crypto part with Crypto jumping on him was a little silly, but also it's a comic book movie. It's supposed to be silly.
Well, from the aspect of what theater or when playing it in, I understood, because when they played it in the Minecraft, I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense because you're playing it with a bunch of little kids in there.
You know what? That's a fair thought.
No one really understands that, but they're not looking at the micro context of how this stuff goes. Like, you're appealing to kids, so you have to kind of keep their minds on track with a kid's film. You don't want to show Superman getting his butt kicked by a kaiju like that right away. You don't want to see him talking to Lex Luthor. That doesn't get you really excited as much. So, it might get us excited, but it doesn't move the needle like it does. When I was in the movie theater, when they played that during Minecraft, the little kids were excited.
Yeah. That's a good thought. I didn't think about that when I first saw this.
Like I said, it was just out of context.
Yeah, but now that you put it in context, it makes a lot more sense. What did you think about the robots in the Fortress of Solitude?
It's pretty much All-Star Superman. All-Star Superman. That's exactly the robots from All-Star Superman.
That's where that's from?
Yep, All-Star Superman.
Okay.
It looks exactly like them. The capes, the numbers. I'm curious on what happened to a couple of the numbers, because they're not in order. One of them was like 14, right. The other one is 2.
Right. We also don't know at what point in the movie this took place. This could be the beginning. This could be towards the end. Maybe a couple of them got taken out by an enemy or whatever. It's also still kind of hard to tell exactly what the plot of this movie is going to be.
Which I love. I love that so much.
I like it too. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. I still want this to kind of be just like a day in the life of Superman. Just like, a series of events that we see him go through, and not so much like your typical comic book movie plot, right? Like where the big villain has a big showdown with him at the end, but more or less like you see him defeating monsters and interacting with the other characters throughout the film.
So if you, I don't know whether you probably got that from Reddit, but you know, I've read a couple hit pieces here and there, and you know, take it with a grain of salt. But apparently, you know, the screenings and tests and stuff like that has been saying that there's no actual plot to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just him. It felt like an episodic situation where it's just, you know, hey, he's doing these different things, you know, kind of like how you just said it.
Well, that's what I said when the first trailer came out. Was it looked kind of like episodic, or I hoped it would be episodic. So if that is the case, then I'm even more excited for it.
From what I heard, that's how it was.
Because also that's just different from your standard comic book film. Like it's different from, you know, seeing the origin of a superhero or even like a sequel of a superhero where again you have ABC plot or whatever. So I think doing a different look or a different take is a breath of fresh air.
Well, I mean, like I told one of my friends, you know, it's like this movie is not going to be for everybody because he's going back to a time where, and I don't know how familiar you are with Superman comics or the Silver Age comics. Silver Age comics were very, very whimsical. They're very whimsical, right. And they didn't really sell either in stores. You know, that's why he had to distance himself from Silver Age comics. And when he go to the Silver Age comics, James Gunn, he said numerous times he loves the Silver Age. Silver Age is when you had crypto, Mxyzptlk, a lot of magic, a lot of wormholes.
Is that how you say his name? Mxyzptlk?
I think that's how you say his name, right? How you say Mxyzptlk?
Something. I have no idea. I don't think I've ever learned.
You know, it gets very, very wacky. You know, Silver Age is very wacky, and it did not take Silver Age was not a very good time. So hopefully James Gunn can kind of liven it up without making it too silly. You know, yeah, Jimmy Olsen turned into a kaiju, which I pray to God that does not happen in this movie, but he does turn into a kaiju in one of the comics. You know,
there is a monster in the trailer.
There is. So you know, I'm praying there's not that bad, but Silver Age is very, very different. You know, if you don't like Silver Age, you're not gonna like this movie. Yeah, you're not gonna like this movie either way because it's such a different contrast from Man of Steel. It's night and day, complete night and day.
Very much so.
Very much so. You can tell. I've seen people post pictures from, you know, side by side of Henry Cavill and you know and James Gunn's work. It looks night and day, night and freaking day,
literally.
So. You know, it's to each his own, man. It depends on what your sensibilities are. What are your sensibilities? For me personally, this is my type of sensibility. Fantastic Four, the same thing.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four is a sensibility situation. And I like that Matt Shankman, he already came out and said, look, don't expect no cameos. These guys.
Oh, I love that too.
Yeah, he said no cameos. He's the only heroes on this earth, on their own earth. Mm-hmm. And what makes this good, well, what I like about it is because of the simple fact that it's a self-contained story. It's a movie on its own. It's not linking anything together.
Right. The only downside is it's the only one we're going to get, and then they're immediately going to get folded into everybody else. That's the only downside. Because, you know, I know you've said before, like, the multiverse is lazy, but the way Fantastic Four First Steps is doing it is the way they should have been approaching it 4 or 5 movies ago. And they haven't. And, you know, it is what it is. Maybe this movie will be a breath of enough fresh air to let the studios know that, like, oh, audiences actually kind of gel with doing standalone different things.
Well, I mean, I don't think this movie's going to be well accepted. Just like I don't think Superman's going to be well accepted. I believe it's going to make money. But I don't think either one of these movies will be well accepted because they're both are going back to a time where the Silver Age of comics, and Fantastic Four is another. You know, you're going back to the 60s,
going to a classic or a more classic look.
Yeah, you're going back to a more classical form, and if that's not what you like, and you like the 2005 version, then you're probably not gonna like this.
Right. Or the 2014 version?
The 2014 version, which no one likes that one, but
Yeah.
you know, me personally, I just like old school. I can adapt. You know, I like all type of comics. I like the dark metal comics when they did with Batman, and you know, I like the lighthearted stuff. I like the corny, silly stuff. I can do all comics. You know, when you go to the comic book store, you see a plethora of all type of comics.
Yeah, there's a wide array.
That's a wide array, and you know better than I do because you've been to the comic book store, and
Yeah.
you get all type of comics, you know, and they're all classic, and they all have good stories. Well, some do anyway, but for the most part, you know, Spider-Man comes from a very comedic, comical, silly time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's been some silly comics about Spider-Man, man.
Oh, of course. There's been silly comics about everybody.
About everybody. You know, not everything needs to be edgy. You know, I don't need everything to be edgy. I don't need Robin cussing out Batman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how I am personally. You know,
I gotcha.
Like I believe that I don't need, but I also don't need Spawn to be Batman. I need Spawn to be Spawn. So it just, like I said, this whole thing is all about sensibility. These two movies will be directly about what your sensibilities are when it comes to this type of stuff. If you like the edgier stuff, then you're not going to like these two movies.
And I mean, to be honest, depending on how they are received, it could change how the next few superhero flicks go, or how the next few superhero movies pivot and change to be similar. Right? If these campy, lighthearted films really take off, then we could see more lighthearted Silver Age type material coming to live action.
That's true.
Who knows? Who knows what summer's going to bring?
I know it's going to bring some money. That's for sure.
Yeah, right.
Because I believe both of these movies going to make money. I believe Superman will probably make a little bit more, but I believe both of these movies are going to make money.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they'll at least make the budget back, and you know, probably enough to get a sequel.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Hey, Squoopsies! You know what time it is?
Time to run my belly button bubbles? Is that what time it is?
No, Squoopsies! It's time for Jacob and Jim's On The Go podcast!
Yeah, that's my favorite. I love watching them. Oh
yeah. Let's move on to some marketing things you've sent me a couple times, actually, where I guess it started with Novocaine, right? When Jack Quaid was promoting Novocaine a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, when he had those had all that stuff on, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess like you had sent me a post where he was at some basketball game, and like throughout the night he was getting more and more damaged. I think he was like a courtside or whatever. So like every time the camera would cut back to him, he's wearing another cast or he's got like a headband on.
That was smart.
Right. And then you sent me another post about this Drop movie coming out, and I guess like there was two people at a basketball game holding up signs promoting it. Yeah,
you know, the dude would sign, and I guess girl would sign. I guess it's his girlfriend. Girl would sign and dude would sign, and they had like the little eyes in the back and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was like Drop the movie,
which I like. I like that. I like that they did it like that. You know, that's cool. It's cool marketing.
It is, and we've covered like in real life marketing before. You know, we talked about like when it was going to come out like a year before they had the clowns come around.
What's that other movie with Denzel Washington's son, the creator?
Oh, did they have some marketing for him?
Yeah, they're like little AI robots. That was at the football game.
Oh, okay.
At the Rams game in L.A. That was kind of creepy.
Interesting.
Smile. Yeah, the people smiling in different crowd and in the crowd and stuff.
I do remember hearing about Smile.
Yep, that was dope too.
And then I had brought up like the raw dogging thing because I think there was a movie and some kind of action thriller coming out based on that. Like the Wi-Fi goes down in a plane or something.
Yeah, I saw that one too. So you got a lot of good marketing. I like that they're taking those chances with the marketing now.
Right, and something that came out recently that kind of made my conspiratorial side wake up was scientists have managed to de-extinct a wolf or a breed of wolf that's been extinct for like 13,000 years. George R. R. Martin had a hand in this, and if you recognize the name, George R. R. Martin is the guy who writes Game of Thrones. He wrote the books, and he's still writing the books. There's one more book to go, and he just can't finish it because he's too busy funding this other bullcrap. I guess he like funded this company to help bring back the dire wolves because dire wolves are from Game of Thrones, or he had dire wolves in Game of Thrones. So they announced the other day that they brought back these dire wolves and they're playing the audio and they're like these cute little puppy dogs and whatnot. And my thought process was pretty convenient for them to do this the same year another Jurassic Park movie comes out. Because people are like, oh my gosh, they Jurassic Parked these dire wolves and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah. Isn't there another one of those coming out this summer?
Trying to cash in, man.
Yeah, and also I looked it up. They brought these wolves back like 5 months ago. Like they're 5-6 months old already. There's pictures of them. They're almost like full grown adults, but like all of a sudden it's suddenly a story.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to cash in.
Yeah. So like my conspiratorial side is just like, I don't know how real this story actually is, and I feel like this is subtle marketing for Jurassic Park.
It might be. It might be. Who knows? I'm pretty sure they're gonna do some good marketing for Jurassic Park too as well. Well, Jurassic World.
They might. This might be the setup for it. And because I'm looking at an article from USA Today where George R. R. Martin was talking about how he was visiting the La Brea tar pits, and that's how he got the idea to use dire wolves in his book or whatever. And I'm like, what else is found in tar pits? Dinosaur bones. That's...
Yeah. It definitely sounds like either he's doing something, got something up his sleeve, or maybe it's like a little marketing for Jurassic Park on the sly, on the cool.
Right. They're just trying to distract you with the Game of Thrones guy. So, I mean, it is cool. They managed to bring back these wolves. It's pretty impressive. Apparently, they use like a tooth and a jawbone to kind of like recreate the DNA, and then of course, like Jurassic Park, they don't have the 100% of the DNA, so they had to mix it with a regular wolf's DNA.
I'm gonna have to Google it and see what they look like because me, I never would watch Game of Thrones like that.
Yeah, they're pretty dogs. They're pretty white dogs. There's 3 of them. There's Romulus, there's Remus, and then the third one is Khaleesi, named after a Game of Thrones character.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up and see what they look like.
It seems like they're real, but it's just a coincidence. They dropped the story that 3 or 4 months before Jurassic Park comes out.
It's weird. It's like a conspiracy.
On the go, or in the shower with Jacob and James.
I also saw too in the headlines that Robert Pattinson said he might not be able to do Batman because he's about to be in the new Dune movie.
He's gonna be in Dune 3?
Yep.
Jeez. They're getting everybody in that film.
It looks like they need to go and cancel this Batman film.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken too long to make it. And I mean, unfortunately, some of it has to do with the fact that the guy was going through a divorce, but...
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. But I don't know. It doesn't take this long to make a Batman film.
It doesn't. And then, Zach, he told me it's kind of like this is becoming like the Blade of movies now.
Oh, DC?
Yeah, it's coming the Blade of DC because it's like, when is this thing going to come out?
And it's funny because the movie The Batman, was a pretty simple storyline. So I can't imagine a sequel you would amp it up to make the writing more difficult, right? I mean, you already kind of know where you're going to go, I would assume, especially after the Penguin series.
It's upsetting. It's a little, it's just silly. This whole thing is silly. Either cancel the movie and get us another Batman, or, and that's what I think they need to do. Like at this point, just cancel this movie and just get us another Batman. If you're going to take this long to do a damn Batman movie, divorce aside, allegedly, you could have been had the script done way before the divorce. If that's what we was going through. Now,
I thought he did. I thought he decided to rewrite it or something.
Oh man, I mean, if you're going through family issues, I get family issues. You know what I'm saying? I get like health issues. That's understandable. You know, that takes first priority over everything. But, you know, this alleged divorce and whatever, it's like, come on, man, dude, you could have been at the script ready to roll out. Ready to roll out. You know, and you can't keep asking these actors to stop and to do your movie when you could have been had this done by now.
Right. Like, I don't know, Robert Pattinson, his career is doing very well right now, so he's not going to wait around to do Batman.
Yeah, it's starting to take off now. His career is really starting to blossom. And here you are sitting up there BSing around with this Batman film. You know?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Shame on, what's his name? Matt Reeves?
Shame on the whole studios, honestly. Shame on Reeves. Shame on James Gunn for not being able to put his foot down on what he wants. Shame on everybody.
Shame on their family, on their cow, on their ancestors.
Okay, Eddie Murphy. Okay.
Hey, man. Gotta lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, go out on a good note, huh?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think that's everything now.
That's everything I got, man.
So, hey, if anybody wants to email us their thoughts on any of the things we talked about today, you can email us at onthegopod2023@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's all On The Go with Jacob and James. You can find us on Instagram individually at jacobdantone.audio, and you can find James at
James9794.
Yeah. And without further ado, I'm on the go, James is on the go, and we are all on the go.
Makes me feel so alive. Listen to those guys talk about anything and everything with my boner, boner. My boner, boner. My boner, boner. My boner. Keep up the good work, me and my boner. I'm always gonna listen to you guys. Word to your mothers, your sisters, your grandmas.